Hi, and welcome to the Day Trading for Beginners podcast. This is season 2, episode 12, and this is going to be the season finale episode. So what we're going to talk about here is the year in review. So I'm going to discuss some of the lessons that I've learned throughout this first year of this trading journey. So again, my name is Tyler Stokes from StokesTrades.com. I started a journey in the beginning of 2024, trying to become a full-time day trader. And I've learned a lot over this first year. And I want to kind of reflect back on what we've learned, some things that were more important than others, and then talk a little bit about what my plan is for 2025. So first of all, we have created some resources. So there is a 6-month blueprint. You can download that below for free. And if you are just starting your own journey, that is a real good roadmap for you to potentially jump on and just find out a good sequence of what to do in your first sort of 6 months. So you start with the basics, set up your brokerage account, learn some technical analysis, and then venture on into finding a strategy. So that 6-month blueprint, again, is below. You can download it. You can go to StokesTrades.com/blueprint, and you can download that for free. Now, we also have a free community on the platform called School. So we've got almost 1,000 members right now. More people are starting to post, having more discussions. People are finding accountability partners, also just being accountable to the group. We're going to talk more about that later on, but you can find links to that community as well. So if you're just starting out, something that I did in the first 6 months was I posted every day to that group, and it really helped me stay consistent. So I'd recommend that you go and check that out. Again, at the moment, it is absolutely free, and you can find all the resources that we've done throughout the whole year, all the podcasts, videos, blueprints in the classroom section of that community. So that is really a great free resources. Okay. So lessons learned, what are some of the things that I've learned over this first year of, becoming a full-time day trader? And maybe I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that maybe I wouldn't change, but some of the things that I thought were more important potentially than others. And then we'll talk about moving forward as well. So first of all, the first thing that I've got on my list here on the notes that I've referenced is trading psychology. So you may see this if you're just starting out, or if you've been kind of looking into trading for some time. The whole trading mindset is so big. There's so many books. There's so much advice about this, and for a good reason. I think it is really one of the most important factors, especially when you start actually, doing some paper trading or trading for real. Strategies are great. There are many strategies, but the hardest part is actually sticking to your strategy. So you've got things that you're going to encounter, such as overtrading, chasing. So, when price pops, you want to jump into that stock because it's going up. But is that really a good time? Probably not. You've got FOMO, so fear of missing out. And all of these things are psychological, and they're going to really be a burden on being a successful trader. So patience is so key. This is one of the things that I've recognized. Opportunities will always come. You can't double your account in one trade. You really need to be very patient. Opportunities will return. Do not chase. Do not overtrade. This whole aspect is so important. And I think that if you read a few audiobooks and you kind of study this stuff, you're going to find so many stories of really successful traders that at one point in their careers early on, they probably lost, or they almost lost everything. There's a handful of stories that I came across where these people who are super successful now basically lost everything their first year, or, when they were first starting out. So if you can learn those lessons without losing your bankroll, I think that's really key. But sometimes, you really won't believe this part of trading until you actually start trading. So hopefully you can learn these lessons when you're paper trading. You can, actually experience FOMO and see yourself doing stupid things. And that's all a mindset game. But hopefully you can do that in a paper trading account, or, if you are trading real money eventually, hopefully you don't lose too much before you realize, okay, I've got to really focus on this mindset aspect. trading psychology is so important. Sticking to your strategy is so important. It's the hardest thing to do, I think. Based on where I am at in my knowledge, I think this aspect is so key. But unfortunately, you kind of have to experience this stuff to really believe it. And I've experienced this when paper trading. I've done all these things and I've sat back and said, wow, like this stuff is real. This could really blow your account. I can see why people lose all their money. You buy low, you keep buying, you think a stock's going to turn out. Suddenly you've allocated so much of your capital to one position and it never turns good for you, and you've lost, or you go on margin and things like that. So again, that's the first point there. Trading psychology is super important. So the next note that I've got here, tools and resources. So we mentioned that community. I think that's really important. Being accountable, again, for me, posting weekly in my first 6 months to that group helped me stay consistent and helped me made the most progress in my learning. Other resources, actually paper trading. So setting up your paper trading account. We've got tutorials on how to do that with various brokerage accounts. It's very easy to do. I would recommend that you do that. Start paper trading, make mistakes in a virtual account. I think you're going to be happy that you did that. I've got this note on market data. I think that people get a little, not confused, but they want to make sure that they get the right data, which is understandable. I noticed that the strategy that I'm currently using, I'm not day trading and I'm not scalping, so I don't need the exact prices. So the free data on TradingView is actually good enough for me, but we have a tutorial on setting up market data through the brokerage with Interactive Brokers. That is going to be good enough for most people. What I've actually found is that I would actually do everything with TradingView if I were to start this over, meaning I do all my charting with TradingView. I can actually buy market data with TradingView if I want. And then I simply just input my trades into my brokerage account, which is Interactive Brokers, or my original account, which is Crest Trade, because I am in Canada. So for me, the tools that I actually use is just TradingView. And on our school group, we've got some tutorials on how to get started with TradingView. I think you're going to need TradingView whether you no matter what strategy you are using. The strategy that I'm using, I just need that. And my brokerage account, I don't need the watch lists and scanners or other tools from Interactive Brokers Trader Workstation. However, if your strategy needs those, then, we've got that whole setup. Trader Workstation or Thinkorswim can provide those things for you. But the note that I have here is that TradingView is super important. It's the tool that I use. I think it's a tool that you should start using as well. And you could potentially do everything with TradingView. Next note is about strategies and approaches. So again, I ended up finding a strategy that's not actually a day trading strategy. So yes, this podcast is about day trading. And I think a lot of people come into trading when they think of day trading and they think that's what they want to do. And potentially it's something that I'm actually going to do in the future, but it isn't for everyone. And it's not really ideal for me with my current schedule. So I mentioned a few times, I'm at home. I've got a 2.5-year-old and we have a 4-month-old now. So a new little baby was born in September. It's been really busy. I can't, with this schedule, get down and actually focus from when the market's open for a few hours every day consistently. It just doesn't work for me right now. However, I can look at the charts on my free time. I can set up limit orders and things of that nature. And that works better with the swing and momentum trading strategy that I'm currently focusing on. And I mentioned, and I give a detailed report on exactly what it is in the school group under the trading strategy classroom section. So again, you might think you want to day trade, but you might find other strategies that might suit you a little bit better. And you might find other markets like the Forex market, which might be better for your schedule, and so on. So again, I'm swing trading and momentum trading stocks. That works out for me. We did a lot of basic information on futures, the Forex market, commodities and things of that nature. So, throughout your journey, you might also discover that, various strategies might work better for you, or you might, really like and have the time to do day trading specifically, and even scalping on really short-term time frames as well. So, I mentioned the strategy, the market symmetry strategy I'm doing. I also mentioned that there is a group that sort of I first found out, the Real Day Trading Reddit group. They have a wiki. I've mentioned it many times. You can find links to that in our school group or below in the show notes. That is a great day trading strategy. It's free. The wiki is a huge document, and all that you can learn for free to get started with. And that's actually something I do plan to revisit when my schedule gets a little bit easier with these little kids all running around. Maybe, growing up and, we can get some more sleep and I can get a better schedule. So I am focused on potentially focusing on a day trading strategy in the future. But for now, this market symmetry strategy is working well for me. And you might run into those same types of issues with your schedule. Next note is about mentorships and community. So we have a free school community, but it's really for beginners getting started, trying to get on the good path, staying accountable. Unfortunately, I can't personally teach anyone to trade because I'm still a beginner. So we don't offer any strategy sort of courses or tutorials. In the future, I plan to be transparent with all my trades, but I'm a beginner. So I'm not going to be making great trades all the time. However, there will come a point where you've done the basics, you've got a good base of knowledge, you will need to learn a strategy. So where do you learn it from? Well, you're going to need to, find a group and find a mentor. So I personally found the great Matsby. I've mentioned him many times. That's the strategy that I'm focused on. And I am part of his group. There are many other mentors and groups out there for various types of strategies, day trading strategies. Again, that Real Day Trading Reddit group, all the information is free, but they do have communities that you can join. You can interact with other traders and you can become a part of their community and mentorship groups. And again, there are some fees for that, but I think eventually, you're going to have to do that because you need someone or some group or some strategy to learn from. And you can't just, in my opinion, you probably can't just all figure this out all on your own. You might be able to, but you might also find that a group does offer really, really good value. So the group that I'm in with the great Matsby, there's a monthly fee, but he's basically working full time. You could ask him questions through the Telegram group. You can send chart requests. He's basically full time working for all the members, answering questions, giving chart updates, disclosing his trade. So it's like a full time job. So it's understandable that you would be paying for that service. But there's also a lot of bad services out there. So you really, really need to be careful. Again, the Real Day Trading Reddit group seems to be a good base of a good place to start for a free strategy. And then you can consider some of their other mentorships. But I think, finding a group, finding a strategy, I think it's going to be important. But please have your spidey sense up because there are some strategies and some groups that are really aren't good. Some of them are scams. Some of them are people just pushing programs that don't work and have super expensive fees. So just be careful. And just be careful with that. I think if you jump into a group and it might have a small monthly fee to start, you can see if you like it. You can see the strategy. You can see if the person's trustworthy. You can see if they disclose their trades, if you trust them. So I found all of those things were really excellent with Matt from the great Matsby. But again, that's not a day trading strategy per se. Next big lesson that I posted about in school is this idea of learning to trust the charts. So many beginners, it's me in particular as well, at the beginning, you really struggle to trust the charts and you really think that news narratives matter more. And you see this, I see it all the time. But I think over time, as you watch trends, you watch cycles, you watch patterns, and the more experience you get in watching a chart develop over time, you will start to understand that the charts tell all the stories. And many times they tell the stories before these news narratives come out. So I think that's sometimes hard to believe at the beginning, but I think the more you understand that that's true, I think that will help with your trading. So again, the other thing here that we'll just wrap up this podcast with, I want to just talk briefly about some challenges and adjustments, and then what we're going to look forward into the next season 3 and our 2025 goals. So I think that was a good rundown. Let's just review there. So yeah, trading psychology was super, super important. I think the more you understand that, the better. Tools and resources. I think a lot of people will need TradingView. That's a great resource. And then don't stress so much about getting everything perfect, especially when you're just starting paper trading. You can adjust things like that. That your setup. I'm looking right now at 2 monitors. Invest in an extra monitor. I think it's really going to help. You can chart on one monitor, input trades on the other, and you can just connect 2 monitors to a laptop or your desktop. That's really, really important. We talked about strategy and approach. Again, day trading isn't for everyone. You might, on your journey, find a strategy that works well with your schedule and where you are. Finding a mentorship and community, I think that's ideal. For most people, our community on School is about getting started, but in terms of strategy, we can't really offer anything yet. But there are many resources out there. Some are good, some are bad. Trust the charts. I think that's an important lesson. It's going to be difficult for some of us like me just to balance all of this. So first year, looking back, how much did I accomplish? I think I did well, but at home, I've got scheduling conflicts like many of you listening do as well. Just trying to stay consistent and do a little bit each week. Looking back now, I've done, I have really done a ton of work over the last year, but it has taken me a year to do this, where I think if I had a better schedule, I probably could do it in a shorter amount of time. So everyone's timeline is a bit different, but don't be discouraged if it takes you a little bit longer if you have scheduling conflicts. A lot of people do. I personally do. That being said, don't be complacent. Get as much done as you can, because look, 2024 is done. We're already into 2025. And before you know it, it's going to be 2026. So staying consistent and jumping in that School group and just, every week posting something, I think that can be very, very helpful for staying consistent. So if we look forward to 2025, personally, what we're going to do here, we're going to wrap this season up and we'll start with season 3, I think in a few weeks. I'm going to sort of do some personal business things and clearing out my schedule a little bit and getting ready for this season. I hope to trade with real money this year. That being said, the market is bullish. So I would be, taking funds away from investments that I think are going to do well. But, I'm going to come out with a podcast episode talking a bit more about this. But yes, I will plan to trade real money this year, maybe in a small account. I'm personally planning to share all my trades and be super transparent in our School group. And the reason I'm doing that is potentially to help others, but it's really going to help me, because if I have to disclose the trades I'm doing, I'm going to be, I think, more careful in not doing stupid trades. So I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to do trades that are not in my strategy if I need to share them with all of you guys and people in the group. So I think that could be a good little approach to this, meaning, sharing your trades publicly, it could potentially, you might be embarrassed if you do something just a bad trade or stupid trade. So maybe that aspect of it can help me stick to my strategy and only trade within my strategy, because I think that's so important. I think that's a big reason why people lose their money. So that's what I plan to do in season 3. I also plan to maybe talk a little bit more about some things that we didn't cover, some important things that I'm noticing that is really important. So just random things like market structure. We never talked about that in the previous season. I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about, market makers and these things called liquidity grabs. So, there are big institutions that can control where the stock goes. And I've seen it time and time again where, there's these support levels and people have these stop losses set up and the price just runs down to these areas, grabs all that liquidity, grabs all those shares, and it's at a support zone, and then the price comes back up. So I want to talk a little bit more about that and share a podcast on that, market structure, and then more eventually about my actual trades and my setting up my actual funding my account and things of that nature. So in terms, for beginners, some, basic advice that I would give after doing this for the first year, start slow, understand that this is going to take you some time. That being said, don't be complacent. Try and do as much as you can every day or every week. Always paper trade. Focus on that. Make mistakes paper trading. Make trading psychology mistakes in a virtual account so you don't lose all your money. I think you're going to run into that and you need to be aware of it when you are. We talked about introspection. So focus on things that you think you're not good at and try and make those your strengths. So, for me, chasing was a big one, or trying to allocate more than I should to a position, thinking that it's going to go up and I could, get a huge gain. That's not going to help in the long-term success of my trading. So I understand that through reflecting and seeing what my bad habits are. And I think that's important for you to do as well. We talked about finding a mentorship or a group, which is important. Patience. The market's not going anywhere. There are always going to be opportunities. So consider that. And then find a strategy that kind of works with your schedule and commitments now, and just understand you can always, adapt your strategy and change it up potentially in the future as your schedule potentially changes as well. So thanks so much for listening. I hope that you found this useful in this season 2 useful as well. I look forward to talking with you more later in 2025 in season 3. And again, if you're not part of our school community, consider joining and we will chat over there as well. So thank you very much, and we will talk with you soon.